everyone, Kendall here with Last Mama Creations. Today we're going to be making a monster. Peanut will be joining in the video because she just loves being in videos and she loves this monster. This is a beginner-friendly pattern. It covers everything you need to know, how to start crochet, magic rings, stitches, all the stuff you need to know. For supplies, if you're following one of my crochet kits, first of all, thank you so much. You're so cool. It has everything you need besides scissors and possibly a crochet hook, just depending on if you add it on a hook or not. Supplies, you're going to be needing medium weight for worsted yarn. I'm using acrylic in purple, pink, white. I have a 12mm safety eye. You need stuffing, a 5mm crochet hook, scissors, stitch marker, and tapestry needle. Also, if you're following one of my crochet kits, you have access to the full written PDF pattern. If you scroll down below the video, you can be finding pictures and step-by-step instructions on everything you need to know to make the monster. I like to print out the PDF when I follow a video tutorial just so I kind of know what's happening and I can kind of get used to the language and all the terminology that's coming in crochet. I think Peanut and I are ready to start crocheting, so let's jump right in. Let's start with our magic ring, which is going to be like the start of our crochet piece at the top of our monster head and kind of goes to the bottom. I have my purple yarn and I have my tail right here. Tail, the cut end, whatever is the end of the yarn. The rest is attached to that ball or that skein. I'm going to take it and wrap it around my hand to form an X. I'm then going to go under, over, and I'm going to scoop it through, twisting it up and taking it off my hand. And then doing a chain, which is when you place the yarn on top of your hook and pull through the loop. So I place the yarn on top and pull through. This is a magic ring, but I'll show it to you again. I have my tail and I want to wrap around to form an X, hold in the middle, under, over, scoop it through, I pinch like right on top just so I can pull it off my hand. And then do that one chain, which is the yarn on top of the hook, and then pull through. This is our magic ring. And now we're going to put 6 single crochets on the ring. A single crochet is one of the types of stitches that we're going to be doing. It's a really simple crochet stitch and like one of the most basics. It's used all the time in crochet. To start, we're going to insert our hook in the middle of our circle, underneath these 2 strands. We're going to do that yarn over of placing the yarn on top of the hook and then pulling through so that you have 2 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through both. And this is a single crochet. We're going to do this 5 more times. So I'm going to insert in the middle, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Through the middle, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. That was number 3. So we're going to do 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can kind of look at each one, it looks like this little V. Those are stitches. I'm then going to pull this tail and form a ring. And now we finished our magic ring, which is round 1 of our pattern. We're going to be working in a spiral, so we're just going to keep on going and making our circles bigger. But to know where the start and the end is of our circle, I'm going to put in my stitch marker, which is that safety pin looking thing. And I'm going to put it in the very last stitch that I made. For round 2, it says increase 6 times. An increase is 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. Right now we have 6 single crochets. By the end of the next round, we'll have 12 because we're putting 2 in each one. So I'm still working the same direction. I want to insert my hook into that very first stitch that I made. First one's always tight. It's not you, it's the crochet. I let the wiggle, you saw me pull it with my fingers to get my hook in it. Completely normal, it's always tight. I'm making sure I go under both of the loops of the stitch. And then I'm going to make a single crochet. And then before we move on, I'm going to insert my hook into the same stitch, which on round 1 was that very first single crochet we made, and make a second single crochet. It's like right next to each other. They're like little BFFs now. And then we can keep on moving around and go into the next one. We're going to repeat the same thing. So insert, single crochet, insert again. That was our second. We're going to do this for the whole round. All right, 2 more increases. For our last one, I'm going to take out my stitch marker, set it to the side, do my increase, and then put my stitch marker back in at the end of the next round, the round we just finished, and that last stitch we made. And that was round 2. You can see our circle's a little bigger now. For the next round, we're going to do 1 single crochet, and then the next stitch we're going to do an increase. So in the next stitch we're going to do 1 increase, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet. And then in the next stitch we'll do the increase. So it's like a little series of 3. One, and then increase. So again, next stitch, we're just going to do 1. Next one, increase. So it's like 1, double, 1, double. Doing this for the whole round. You're going to find with crochet, it is very repetitive. There's a lot of patterns in it. It's a lot of doing the same thing, which is nice because once you feel comfortable with your single crochet, this is going to be pretty easy peasy for you. That's my increase. 1, then an increase. My last sequence, we're going to do 1, take out the marker, do the increase. Put the marker back in. Do not forget the marker. It's very important. Boom, look at that. Next, you're going to start seeing this pattern form. Instead of doing 1 single crochet and then an increase, we're going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase. But 2 single crochets are different than an increase. It's going to be 1, 1, and then an increase. So it's like a series of 4. So 1 single crochet, another single crochet in the next stitch, and then an increase. One, 1, double. All the way around. 1, 1, double. 1, double, one, double, one, double, last one, one, remove the marker, increase, putting the marker back in. The next round is going to be 3 single crochets and then an increase, which is starting to make sense, right? This is what's making our circle grow bigger a little more evenly. Mine kind of curls up a little bit. That's okay. If you notice yours is like pointed like this, your stitches are probably too tight. So you might want to work on loosening your stitches. Tension is something that just comes with time. It's your first project, it is no big deal. You will learn, you will get better. Best part about this monster, if it's looking a little different, who cares? It's a monster. If it was a pointed head, that makes sense because it's a monster. I purposely designed my beginner patterns and kits so that there can be mistakes in it and it's no big deal. Next round, 3 single crochets and then our increase. 1, 2, 3, and then an increase. We're going to do this for the whole round. Increase. Last one, taking out the marker and increase. And putting the marker back in. Why? Because it's important. If you forget the marker, you're just gonna keep on going around and around, and it's very annoying and very frustrating to figure out what you did wrong. So just put the marker back in, get in that really good habit. The next round is gonna be our last round of increases. If we went 1 single crochet, then an increase, and then 2 single crochets and an increase, and then 3 single crochets and then an increase, I bet you can guess the next round, which you are correct. It'll be 4 single crochets and then an increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase. Go ahead and do this for the whole round and don't forget to put that marker back. Doing my last increase. And this is as wide as our piece is going to get, but it doesn't look like a monster because we need it to form the body like that. Show you a trick. Instead of putting your stitch marker in the last stitch like that, I'm actually going to put it on the side. Oh, sorry, it's a little blurry. On the side of my stitch. Because for the next 10 rounds, we're going to be placing 1 single crochet in every stitch. So that means no increases, no nothing, just 1, 1, 1. At the end of each round, you should have an equal number of stitches as you did the round before. So I'm just going around, I'm putting 1 stitch into each one, 1-to-1 ratio. I'm going to do this for 1 round and I'll show you what we're going to do with our marker. My cat Peanut has joined us. She loves when I film videos. It's seriously like the highlight of her week whenever I sit down to do this. Thank you so much, Peanut. So here's my marker. I'm not going to move it. I'm just going to continue crocheting around it. Goodness, Peanut. Yep, she is here. She loves this. I don't know what it is. When I make a video, she has to be a part of it. So leaving this marker here, we're going to keep on going around for 10 rounds. Round, around, around. You don't have to move this. Just look at it and kind of line it up as you go around. You're going to be able to see, looking up, this is 1 round, and then you'll do this for 10. And then I'll show you how to close your piece. I'm going to hop off camera, and we're just going to do 1 single crochet in every single stitch for a total of 10 rounds. Now we're starting to see it take a shape, huh? It wasn't that nice to not have to move the stitch marker every time. You have to move the stitch marker every time when you're doing things exact, like the increase rounds and what we're about to do, the decrease rounds. But for things with like 1 single crochet in every stitch, it doesn't matter as much if it lines up exact, so you can use that method and look up and go count to 10. That was Peanut. She's excited. Now to close our body and kind of finish it up, I'm going to remove my stitch marker and I'm going to put it in the last stitch I made. If you're ever wondering, Kendall, why don't you kick out your cats when you're filming? It's because I have barn-style sliding doors and my cats can open them. It's very annoying and I can't lock them out anywhere, which is why I do it during their nap time, but Peanuts decided to skip nap time today. But it means she'll sleep well tonight. Let's do these decreases. If an increase is 2 single crochets in 1, a decrease is the opposite of combining 2 stitches into 1. We're going to do the opposite of our pattern. So we're going to do single crochet 4 and then a decrease instead of an increase. So I'm going to crochet 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to do our decrease. I'm going to insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over, and pull through, just like you would a single crochet. But instead of finishing it off, I'm going to insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. So you have 3 loops on your hook. I'm then going to yarn over and pull through all 3. And that's our decrease. So we're going to repeat this pattern for the whole round. Single crochet 4 and then a decrease. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our decrease. Insert hook, yarn over, pull through, so you have 2. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through all 3. Go ahead and do this for the whole round. My last decrease, take out my marker, complete the decrease, put the marker back in. Next round is 3 single crochets and then a decrease. So 1, 2, 3, and then our decrease. And we'll do this for the round. Just finished the round. I bet you can guess what the next one is. You're going to single crochet 2 and then do a decrease. At the end of this round, I'll show you how to start stuffing. But go ahead and do 2 single crochets and then a decrease. We're going to start stuffing. So I have my stuffing, and the trick is to pull it apart into small clumps and place it in individually. Let me zoom you out a little bit. Oh, there we go. Don't just ball it up and stick it in there. This will make it nice and fluffy. Small clumps, place it in. This, you can kind of shape it and be like, oh, well, I want it to be perfectly round, so I know I need a little bit more in like this corner. I'm gonna keep on going until my piece is as stuffed as I like it. Now my monster body is perfectly fluffy, and I'm gonna continue on with my rounds. Next round, 1 single crochet and then a decrease. The round after is 6 decreases. It's gonna be a little tight because now you're stuffing. It's okay if you miss a few. At the end, you should have 6 stitches, but it's okay if you have 7 or 5 or 8, like it's okay. It's the bottom, we will totally fix it. Just try your best to try to get that number. I'm gonna hop off camera to do my last rows because I kind of have to squeeze it and it's kind of awkward. But then I'll show you how to close up the bottom. I'm right at the end. If you want, you could put a little bit more stuffing, like right in the edge. I'm gonna put a little bit, but it's totally okay if you don't want to. If you used all your stuffing, no big deal. Just a little bit, there we go. I'm gonna cut about 1 foot of yarn, cut it off from my skein, and we're gonna do this thing called fastening off, which is when we're gonna pull our loop so we don't have a loop anymore. I'm gonna put my end on my tapestry needle, my yarn needle, whatever you wanna call it. And I'm gonna weave in and out of my last few stitches. And then we're gonna pull it tight and close up the bottom. There's a couple different methods of closing the bottom. Doesn't matter whatever way you do it. Whatever gets the job done. I'm gonna pull it tight. I'm gonna place a knot right up to the base. We do not just want to cut our yarn because it will come undone. What we want to do is stick our needle in the body right by the knot and then stick it out anywhere else. I'm then gonna cut it. And now the tail's like stuck inside the body, so it's a lot harder for it to come undone. And now we have a monster body. Well, I guess it could technically be anything, but it's gonna be a monster today. But now we need to do the tongue, the horns, and the eye. Now that you know how to make the body, the horns and the eye is gonna be so easy for you because you already know what to do. It's the same skills, just a little different. To start our horns, we're gonna start by making a magic ring. I'm not gonna go as slow as I did before. Please pause the video and go back to the beginning if you need to. I'm going to make my magic ring and place 6 single crochets on our loop, just like we did in the beginning. I mean, it is the exact same thing we're doing here. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Tighten it. Instead of doing our increase rounds next, we're actually going to single crochet 6. So 1 single crochet in every stitch. You can use a marker or you can count in your head. Because it's so small, I like to keep track in my head. Remember that first one's tight. It's not you, it's crochet. I do 1. And go into the next stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You're gonna notice it's like turning in on itself. That's normal, that's the shape we want. I'm gonna pull my magic ring a little tighter. Perfect. Our last round for our horn is going to be 6 increases. Again, just like the beginning. You're gonna do 1 increase in every stitch. Again, because it's so small, I'm gonna keep track in my head. We're gonna do 1, and 2, all the way around, so you have 12 single crochets. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And we have a horn. Go ahead and cut off a nice long tail. We'll be using this for sewing, so you want some wiggle room. Fasten off. And boom, we have a horn. Go ahead and make a second horn. That way your little monster can have 2. For our tongue, it's a little different than the start of our circles. We're going to start with a slip knot. Your slip knot should come undone when you pull it. I have my tail. I'm going to twist and pull through. If you made a slip knot for anything ever in your life, it's the exact same thing, nothing fancy, whatever method works for you. My tail's over here, so I'm going to insert my hook and tighten it. You don't want it too tight, you can't move it. Too loose, it falls off. Just a little snug. We're then going to chain 7, which you know how to do because that's when we place our yarn on top of our hook and pull through. So place your yarn on top of your hook and pull through. That's a chain. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now we're going to do slip stitches. Slip stitches are smaller than single crochets, but they're easier. Instead of continuing this direction, we're actually going to turn and go the other. We're going to skip the 7th chain. This is just so it gives us room to work the other direction. And then you're going to insert your hook into the 6th chain. Yarn over, pull through, and then pull through again. You're going to repeat this in the next 5 chains. So I'm going to insert my hook into the chain. Spoiler alert, it doesn't actually matter where you put your hook in. So yes, technically there is a right and a wrong of where to put your hook in a chain, but for something so small, and especially for us beginners, just put your hook in the chain. It doesn't matter if it's this loop or that loop or the back or both, just put the hook in. And then yarn over, pull through, all the way to the end. And if you accidentally skip one, you're like, oh no, I'm supposed to have 6, but I did 5 or what, it's fine. It's totally good. It's just a tongue. So if it's a little different than mine, it's a-okay. I got to the end, so I'm gonna leave my nice long tail for sewing. Cut it, fasten off. Now we have our silly little tail. We'll actually be sewing it together, so it's like a little bit more round like that, unless you want it long like that. But we're gonna do that once we sew it to the body. So I'm gonna set this aside and let's make the eyeball. This eyeball is gonna be so easy peasy for you because you already know all the skills. We're gonna start with our magic ring. Under, over. I'm gonna chain 1 and then put 6 single crochets on the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Excuse my sales counter going off in the background. I guess we just got an order. So we have our 6 single crochets, put my marker in, and then the next round, 6 increases, which is 2 single crochets in 1, which you already know how to do because you already did it twice, or 3 times if you count both horns. So we're going to do 6 single crochets, 6 increases, excuse me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, move the marker. 11 and 12. Our next row is going to be 1 single crochet and then an increase, just like the beginning of the monster body. So 1 single crochet, in the next stitch an increase, and you're going to repeat that for the whole round. So 1 increase, 1 increase. Removing my marker during my last increase. This is as big as our eye is going to get, but we're going to do one more technique so we can practice our other skills and kind of make our eyeball look a little different. We're going to place 1 slip stitch in every stitch all the way around. Remember how we did the slips for the tongue? Same thing. You're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull through again. You're going to do this for the whole round. Insert, yarn over, pull through. I kind of like the dimension that this gives the eyeball. And again, I'm always one for learning or practicing a new skill so we can kind of master slip stitches together. Coming on the end, I'm gonna remove my marker. Last one. Boom. Leave a nice long tail for sewing. Cut it off. Bam. That's actually our last bit of crocheting we're gonna do. Now we just gotta assemble the whole thing together. To assemble our eye, I'm going to take my black 12mm safety eye, and I'm going to stick it right through the middle of our white eye. And then I'm going to put the back, a little back washer on it, push it down so that it's through the white. You kind of see it on both sides. This is our middle tail from our magic ring. I'm going to trim it so it has about 1 inch left. Don't cut it too short, it will come undone. This is just so it stays out of our way. I have my body back, cleaning up my workspace a little bit. I'm gonna put my tapestry needle on my white tail. I'm gonna place the eye where I want it. Do we like that? Gives like Mike Wazowski vibes, which I just love. And then we're gonna sew it. There's 100 different ways to sew pieces in crochet. Do whatever works for you. If you're like, oh, I embroider or I sew, this will be easy peasy for you. The way I like to do it, I like to go down through the eye, white to purple, and then back up only through white in like the same stitch. So down in white, through purple, and then up through white. It could be a little thick because of those slip stitches, so if you just want to go on a smaller piece, like not through the whole stitch and just on one, you can do that as well. So the slip stitches kind of give us some options. Through the white, through the purple, and then back up. If it pokes through a little bit, that's okay. You just pull it a little tight. So you can kind of like poke it through, scoot the white back, and do this all the way around in whatever method you like best. After sewing, poke it out near the bottom, pull out your tail, and then trim. If it shows a little bit, poke it through with your scissors or kind of rub it, do it with your needle, whatever you need. Now he looks ridiculous. Well, let's get those horns on. Well, one of the horns. I'm only going to show one. This has a tail as well. I'm going to trim it, not too close, just so I have my tails out of the way. And then I'm going to put my main sewing tail on my needle. I'm going to pick where I want it. I'm going to hold it, and I'm just going to sew it just like we did the eyeball. If anything, this is a little easier for whatever reason. Don't forget, if you want your horn to be kind of pointy, don't like push it flat. Make sure it's pointy when you sew it on. If you want it to stay pointy, do the same thing. Sew all the way around, and then hide your tail. Let's add our smile. Whoa. Let's add our smile. My monster rolls by. I have a long piece of black yarn I'm going to put on my tapestry needle. You can make the smile look however you want. Don't let anyone tell you how to do a smile. What I will say is I'm going to start from the bottom. I like to start on one corner of the mouth. Oh, sorry everyone. Getting chaotic here. I feel my sunshine leaving, so I'm scared. I'm running out of time for the video. I'm going to make one part and then go along the bottom. I know, he looks weird. Just give it a moment. The smiles come together. It's always like a stressful, like, oh my god, it's ugly, it's not gonna look right. You know, it just takes a little bit. So I have that. He feels super cartoony. So I like to add those little, like, you know, those lines. I don't know what they're called on a smile. I was like an animator. I'm sure they have like a real word. And if you ever pull too tight, remember you can kind of pull it back out. You know, those things. And then on my little angles to kind of make them smoother, I'm going to stitch about halfway through this black line over cross. Oh, wow, that made no sense. You know, drawing like a line so it smooths out our corners, see? And then over here, I'll do the same thing and add our little, should have looked at the word before I started the video. I have no idea what this is called. Little line. If you know what it's called, like comment down below. I don't even know if there's a word for it. Sticking back out the bottom, not pulling too tight so I don't ruin all my hard work. Again, it's a monster. If your smile isn't even, who cares? It's a monster. They're supposed to all look different. I'm kind of digging the one horn thing too. Let's cut these. Because there's no knot on this, I don't like to cut it too close. I like to cut about 1 inch and then shove it in. Shove it in. It just kind of makes me feel like it's more secure. I don't really know if it is or not. My tongue. No trimming of the lines here because we're actually going to use both of them to sew. I liked my tongue a little fatter, so I'm going to wrap it around and use my tail and just sew it to itself. No method right here, no madness, just so it looks like it's put together. Best part about crochet is that you can totally wing some stuff. Like, there's not necessarily like an exact method of how to do everything. And I love that. Put the tongue on this side today. Get the other tail out of the way. And then I'm gonna sew it right by the smile. Then to the tongue. Let's go right here. I want to poke it through. Yeah, that's good. Take my other tail, clean it up a little bit. Make sure it's nice and secure. That looks so silly. And cut. Shove it in. Boom. If you want, you can add a little bit of hair with the white yarn or pink. You do you. Do it purple. I don't know. I'm gonna cut a piece or two. You can latch it on with your hook, but I will say it's easier if you use a needle. It'll be more time consuming. You're going to pull it through. Make a knot. On my sample, I did about 8 of these, just so you know. Once you put them all on, cut big. This is not your final trim. And then take your needle or scissors and separate the strands. You kind of have to do it individually, but it kind of just gives it a fluffy look. Also, if you have like a cat brush, like for their fur, it also does the same thing. It'll be a little bit more spread out, but a lot of people do that for like a fluffy texture. Like that. And then at the end, you kind of trim it so it looks like this. Mine's chaotic, but it's a monster. It's supposed to be chaotic. That's how you make a monster. Thank you so much for joining me and Peanut today as we made the crocheted monster beginner pattern. I hope you had a great time. I hope your monster looks however you want it to look. If the smile is different, if the horns are differently placed, it's a monster. That's like the coolest part about crocheting something like a monster. It can all look different, and I just love that. I would love for you to stay up to date with everything happening with Lousy Llama Creations. We have like huge news coming in April. It's gonna be massive. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna rock your world. Follow on social media, specifically TikTok's always the best way to see what's up and coming. You can find us at Lousy Llama Creations. If you loved this crochet kit and you're looking for more, don't forget to sign up for our Patreon. It is a monthly subscription kit where you get a beginner crochet kit. It comes with a video, tutorials, supplies, and your first month you get a free crochet hook set, which is pretty awesome. I also cover shipping when it comes to all these crochet kits, so if it's something that you know you're gonna want a lot of, you might want to consider signing up for the club. It's a lot easier. I have it linked down below. It is the Llama Club with Lousy Llama Creations. Again, my name is Kendall, and this is Peanut, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.